So in one of my conversations in that Facebook group that I've talked about before, this was a while ago. Somehow the Nuremberg Code came up, and this lady was making fun of everybody who was talking about it because, we obviously didn't know anything because the Nuremberg Code, that's not a law. So we're stupid for suggesting that this COVID-19, the mandates and the rollout with the vaccine and everything was in violation of the Nuremberg Code. We're apparently stupid morons for being concerned about that because nobody actually adopted that into law. Now, what the Nuremberg Code is what they came up with after the Holocaust to ensure that nothing like that could happen to people again. So again, how stupid are we for being concerned about something like that because it's not a law? Instead of being concerned about maybe why those aren't implemented as laws, instead we're just going to mock the people who have concerns and questions about the ethics of this mass forced human experimentation. The Nuremberg Code is the voluntary consent of human subjects is absolutely essential. This means that the person involved should have legal capacity to give consent, should be so situated as to be able to exercise free power of choice without the intervention of any element of force, fraud, deceit, duress, overreaching, or other ulterior form of constraint or coercion, and should have sufficient knowledge and comprehension of the elements of the subject matter involved, as to enable him to make understanding and enlightened decision. This latter element requires that before the acceptance of an affirmative decision by the experimental subject, there should be made known to him the nature, duration, and purpose of the experiment, the method and means by which it is to be conducted, all inconveniences and hazards reasonably to be expected, and the effects upon his health or person which may possibly come from his participation in the experiment. The experiment should be such as to yield few fruitful results for the good of society, unprocurable by other methods or means of study, and not random and unnecessary in nature. The experiment should be so designed and based on the results of animal experimentation and a knowledge of the natural history of the disease or other problem under study, that the anticipated results will justify the performance of the experiment. So the United States, at least, violated all of that with their coercion and forcing people out of their jobs and ostracizing them from society. People were not told that the pharmaceutical companies never tested this to see it stop transmission. People were also never told that they were going to need to get boosters every 3 months. So absolutely no informed consent and lack of voluntary participation free from coercion. So if your position hinges on the fact that it is okay to ignore the Nuremberg Code of ethics for human medical trials because it's not been codified into law in the United States, you might want to rethink the moral high ground that you feel like you're standing on.